All right, good morning and welcome to the Sports Buffet on Elegbete TV Radio. My name is Idafi Matthew Siogene. You love to call me the Elegbete one of sports. Let's get in that mood. Today, I don't have Joseph Okiche with me as he's gone for some work on the road. Yes, we'll have him tomorrow and we would get the details of what he's been up to. But I'm not walking alone like a Liverpool fan. I don't walk alone. I've got someone who is very big in the football space, someone who is a national icon, someone who, was part of our journey into winning international laurels, in football. Our the first ever gold medal won by Nigeria at the international level. He was part of the team. And I always feel very happy that when I have a chance to talk to him, he's always that kind of guy that you want to talk to. I'm talking about a player who was born on October 28th, 1968, a professional footballer. He's a striker, and he's had a career that has taken him from Jules Berger. And there is a mix in this thing, and I've always wanted to ask him this question. A player playing for Jules Berger, how did he go to Brooklyn College in the US and spend 3 years and then came back and was still able to make it in the Europe? Because it's very hard to, in that era, go from the US and come to Europe. But he was one of those who was able to break that divide. And he's also played for FC Straubing, Karlsruhe Jena, Stuttgart Kicker, World of Mannheim, and that club also happens to be a club that our current Super Eagles manager Gernot Rohr also was part of, played for Hansa Rostock, VfB Stuttgart, VFL Wolfsburg, and then finally ended up his career with Saarbrücken. I'm talking about no other person than Jonathan Akpoborie. Jonathan, good morning and welcome to the Sports Buffet on Elegbete TV Radio. Yeah, so we're going to take it one step at a time. We're going to try our best to look into all of the matters on ground and see how we can get it. So first off, there's one question I've always wanted to ask you. How the tennis became a part of your life?
If I tell you the story now, I have to tell the story.
Yeah, you have to.
I think one of my trips, I came back to Nigeria and I was representing our All-Stars team, St. Mary's in Ajimule. So we played in a competition at Festa. So as I was playing, this guy would just target my leg.
Wow.
The guy will hit my leg. He will hit my leg. Unfortunately for me that day, he hit my ankle and the ankle was swollen immediately. As I was looking at my leg, I was looking at everybody, I was looking at the guy. I couldn't do anything to him because everybody knew he did it on purpose. So as I left the field that day, I was just deciding that I have to look for something that I'll exercise with because playing football is becoming more dangerous. So the next day I went to St. Mary's and I saw a friend of mine playing tennis, and that was it. That was everything that changed. I just picked up the racket and played with them a few minutes. The next day I bought a racket, bought tennis shoes, and here I am today.
Wow. Wow. Is it that easy to go from a professional, world-class, professional, top-class footballer to a tennis player? See, I won't go buy a racket tomorrow. Siko, remind me, let's go.
No, but say the football when person won't play for life. We don't play and plenty. So at least we could give another sport something again. I
mean, it's not the same with injury. Scatter my knee. I can't come. I got artificial knee now. So let me go and buy rackets. Maybe I can make it in tennis because the kind of money with there, Serena Williams and Roger Federer they make. Maybe I might get 1%, 10th. I might get tight of it. Who knows? Okay, so let's hit the ground running. Last week Monday I had Gernot Rohr here, via phone from his base in France. And we talked about a lot of things: his personal story, his married life, his children, his coaching, his experience in Nigeria, languages that he's picked up, and all that. So I, based on the fact that you played in Germany, you also know Gernot Rohr very well. You're one of those people who rooted for him at the beginning. I felt like you're the kind of guy that can get into his mind. But before we get into Gernot Rohr's mind and what you think, talk to me. Jules Berger was regarded as the only professional football club, the real professional football club in Nigeria, and then you now add Eagle Cement back in the day. Can you share some beautiful experience of your time with Jules Berger?
Oh, Jules Berger was like a very big preparatory. Like you go to a nursery preparatory school for kids.
Yeah.
Jules Berger was actually the club that prepared me for professional life in Europe. Not just the facilities that they provided for the players, but also the coaching. I was fortunate to have the late Joe Erico, and Joe Erico will always tell you in training that time that everything you are doing here, you will pray for me when you go abroad or when you go to a professional club in Europe and see that what we are doing here is what you will be doing in Europe. We used to laugh when he would say things like that, but at the end of the day, when I got to Europe, I was just laughing. I was laughing at everybody because everything was like deja vu. I have been here before, but the circumstances were different. The infrastructure was a little bit better. The facilities were very, very good. And of course, finance was way, 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 way high. Then there was no surprise.
Okay.
I had already done everything in Nigeria through Jules Berger.
Okay, so in this interview, we're going to be jumping up and down, bringing back, left, right, and center. And like I told you yesterday, sometimes I could ask questions that will piss you off. Prepare your mind for it. 1985, you, Imama Mapakabo, host of small children. Let me use that word now. Now that doesn't mean that you're senior, but that's the description at the time. So please pardon me. Some small children. Some have never traveled before. Some have never entered a plane before. Yes. Jump on a plane, not even to Europe that is nearby. No, you went to China. Yes. For the Kodak FIFA Under-17 World Cup. How was the culture change? Forget about the football now. The food, the people, the language, the environment. How intimidating was it? And you people still managed to win the Under-17 World Cup.
China. Personally, for me, China was the first country I went to outside Nigeria. Although we stayed briefly in France before we now took the flight to China. Getting to China, we found out the language was a big barrier. The people, what they call racism today, I laugh sometimes when people say they are experiencing racism, and I say, okay, what happened? And I look at them and they tell me stories, and I start laughing, because then racism was on the street, racism was in the hotel you are staying, racism was in front of the person talking to you. It was so obvious, because when we got to China, the guys at the airport will close their noses because we blacks are coming, we are walking through. You are actually walking into the hotel, and the receptionist, everybody, they are talking to you and they are holding their noses. But actually for us, they are the ones that stink. But all of those things, he actually gave us the hunger to prove to them that we were not smelly, we were better at what we do, which was football. So football was the only way we could actually tell them that you guys are so wrong about us that you do not understand.
Okay, so let's drag your career a bit into this conversation. Your career, if we're to plot a graph of your career, it doesn't have a straight line. It is so sweet at some point and then terrible at some point and then goes so very high again. So in 1985 you won the World Cup. 87 you went to the under 21 in Chile. What happened in Chile? I mean, we all expected that this team was win it. That was me coming of age. That was the first time my first World Cup that I saw on TV was 1986 so 1987. I was part of those people that was watching football in the night. What happened?
To put it in a nutshell, it was that team was destroyed by the politics in Nigeria. We had fantastic players, but the politics at the end, deciding who is traveling, who is not traveling. After that China 85 victory, politics crept into Nigerian football, and it has never left from that time. Because winning was like, it's supposed to be a tradition to win, but you have to then pick the right people that will do Nigeria proud, not actually putting sentiments in picking players that will represent Nigeria. We have to always put our best team to represent Nigeria. But from that 87 team, as I'm telling you now, except at the Olympics that we went to in 96, I have never seen Nigeria go to a tournament with their best team.
That brings me to one of my saddest, and it's not my saddest moment in Nigerian football, but it's my angriest moment in Nigerian football. So being angry and being sad are two different emotions. So you went to Senegal 92, you won bronze with Nigeria against Cameroon, you disappeared from the national stage, and then you went to Europe to build your career, which was fine. And at a time where you were on top of your game, you played in the Cup Winners' Cup finals with against Chelsea with Stuttgart. Taribo West played in the UEFA Cup finals against, I think, the Paris Saint-Germain in France against, I don't know who they played against, I can't remember. But you were having a great time, scoring up to 30 goals. And then 98, we had the World Cup. It was clear that you were not the person that would take over from Rashidi Yekini. We didn't have a top striker. You were banging goals like goals were going out of fashion. Daniel Dabola Mokashi had a very terrible knee. We all know that he was injured. You were dropped, and Mokashi was picked. And that was the time we started hearing about mafia. How come you didn't make it into the mafia? Why were you dropped? What was your expectation before the team was announced, and what was your reaction when that team was announced?
You see, most times, even today, Nigeria, our national team, they make decisions sometimes that you cannot really understand. There were so many things going on at that time, but I had to concentrate regarding the European Cup and the European Cup final that we played in that year in Stuttgart. Freddy Bobic had also almost the same experience as me, because we both played at that final, but we did not make our national teams. I remember talking to maybe one or two politicians that were my very good friends, and they were urging me to do some things to ensure that I would make the team. But those things they were telling me were so unprofessional.
What were those things?
Right now. I have to protect those people, because I really do have to protect them. But
okay.
I could not play politics. Football is for footballers, while politics is for politicians. I don't do politics. That time I would not do politics. Now I would not do politics. What is actually killing our football today is the political influence that is in our football today. We should get rid of it, and Nigeria will progress in football.
that now brings me to the core of why we are having this interview today. Do you know that every time you speak to any Nigerian footballer from the class of 94 that I hate the most, and I say it anywhere without apology, unfortunately some people who happen to be my family members or friends are in that class, but I hate them the most because they are the worst thing to ever happen to Nigerian football, and I'm going to say it anywhere without apology. They are your friends.
Hold on. No, say they are the worst thing that has
they are the worst thing that ever happened to Nigerian football. They are too entitled, they are too arrogant, they are too full of themselves. They don't give back. Okay, so now let me explain my bit on this. And you said you don't play politics. I don't play politics too. I'm tired of pretending. The class of 94 are the worst thing to ever happen to Nigerian football. And I'm going to say it anywhere without an apology. So let me come down to why I'm saying that. First of all, they were the ones that brought mafia into football. They were the ones who started all this politicking in Nigerian football. Even though you said it started in 1997, I agree. Now let me come to where I'm coming from. We've always talked about, if these our players, one of the benefit of our players going to Europe to play football is that they would get the education of knowing how football is run, how it's managed. How is it that ex-footballers have never been able to crack the code of knowing that the first job to do is to come down to your respective state, rise up through the rank and become state FA chairman, and then take over at the national level? Why do you people keep running errand for politicians who you claim are bad?
Well, me, for one, I don't run errands for anybody. I thank God for that.
I agree.
And going back to this your question now, I will give you an example, a scenario, a very good scenario, and you tell me, for somebody who actually wants to bring something back to the society of Nigeria, if it is what it's then you will tell me.
Okay, let's go.
6 years ago, I was moving around Europe. I had some friends in Holland, and I organized for them to give me football kits, because I am always in Ajegunle, where I grew up.
Yeah.
I go to that field almost every day. If not for the traffic today, I will be in Ajegunle waiting to play tennis now. So I see the kids running around. They are talented kids, but most of the time you see them playing football with their bare feet. They don't have the right clothes, but they are very, very good kids. I see them all around Ajegunle. So going around Europe, I now spoke to this NGO. They gave me a 40-foot container filled with boots, jerseys, or everything, football nets, that's, the posts, everything was inside this container.
Yeah, football equipment.
Yes. Getting to Nigeria, they said I would use 2 something million to clear it. Okay, we paid everything. Just because that thing was called Project for Ajegunle, they seized it.
Damn.
It's my own private money. I didn't go to anybody. I didn't ask anybody to help me. I wanted to clear it by myself, share to the kids. Do you know what they were telling me? They were telling me I should sell some of it, that I should give them some of it to sell. I refused. That was why the container was seized. So tell me, after going through such experience, what do I want to do? What would I be encouraged to do to actually promote football in Nigeria?
Okay, so that was a terrible experience. And I have that kind of experience too. My friend in China, Alex Akonde, also have similar experience. We've all had like similar kind of experience. And
but
I'm going to say sorry for that.
But you see, and coming now to the core of your question.
Yeah, okay, because that doesn't answer my question. That's what I wanted to say.
If you say you want to manage football in Nigeria, there are so many things that I have learned, I have seen in Germany that we can actually bring. You can't compare Nigeria to Germany.
Absolutely.
Because exactly. So you cannot compare. But there are so many things you can use to start.
I agree.
And you push the administrative things on their way to say, okay, this thing will help. By the time the next people will come, they complement and everything is moving forward. But do you think anybody who thinks in his right senses that they will allow somebody like me or somebody who actually wants to rearrange what is going on in Nigerian football, they will give him a chance, then you are dreaming.
No, but why do you people always think they will not give you? Okay, see, let me point other angle to you. Austin JJ Okocha.
An example. Let
me also give you an example. JJ Okocha was given the Delta State Football Association chairmanship on a platter of gold. It was just called in, come and take it. For 4 years, he didn't do anything. He attend meetings, he doesn't take phone calls, he acts like he doesn't need it. And this is a guy who could take that position, from that position go become the president of the Nigerian Football Federation. But then he acted like he's doing favors, and that's what almost everybody do. Just a few weeks ago, I was in Anambra. A young man who is in his 30s was organizing a football competition. He invited Terrible West, Tijani Babangida, and Victor Ekpeba, class of 94 again, and he paid them. He paid them. They did a video to promote them. On the day of the event, they didn't show up. You know where they were? They were in Kogi dancing around a politician who everybody says is stealing money. I'm just using that as an example. Now, because when I say these people are the terrible people, and I have a dossier of some of the class of 94, including goalkeepers and the rest, who take money from boys on the street, telling them that they want to take them to club in Europe, and they don't do it. These are class of 94. So when I say this, I'm not just saying it because I hate them. I'm saying these are people who worship them.
You see, there are so many accusations. You know, you can just flaunt around and talk about in Nigeria.
Yep.
You know, regarding my former colleagues who are some of them are actually good friends of mine, but they have their own. Everybody has his own faults. Everybody has. I won't tell you.
I agree
that they are not. We in one part we don't have our own blame. We do, but somebody like me, as I am sitting down talking to you now, politics will not let me do what I would want to do for the Delta State Football Association. The map or the road map for you to now go there and become the FA chairman, or maybe inside the sports commission, to work inside that sports commission, I am not ready to do all those dirty politics.
Now that is the point.
I have to remind you. I have to remind you that I am willing to help, but I don't want to beg.
Okay, that is where we always get it wrong, footballers. Why you say you're willing to help? It's not a help, it's a job.
No, I am. See,
it's a job.
The wealth of experience I have in organizing football is immense. It's plenty.
Good.
It's plenty. Okay. But if I tell you now, okay, I want to do this in Delta State, then the government will start telling me, okay, you have to do this first, you have to do that first, you have to do that first.
If you live in Rome, what happens to that statement? If you live in Rome, you do as the Romans do. To catch a monkey, you have to behave like a monkey. I mean, when you went to Europe, let me clear something. Let me clear something here. Johnny, when I went to Europe, my system changed. When I went to Sweden to go play for Elfsborg, what I was used to when I was playing for Sharks of Port Harcourt changed. For instance, when I was playing for Sharks of Port Harcourt, I could eat eba before match, maybe 1 or 2 hours before match. I went to Sweden, not just like carbohydrate. They break down the food down. This is second division, no, not even top flight, second division. And they tell you not to eat this, not to do that, ride a bicycle for this number of minutes, number of hours. I mean, I need to ride bicycle for Port Harcourt. Now I get my motor at the drive. But things change. Because I want to earn the money, because I want to play the football, I adapted to their style. Do I like it? No, I don't. I didn't used to like to go to gym. I get skill. I sabi dribble. So give me the ball, let me dribble. But they put me through gym, they put me through sauna, like I be Chinese people. But that's part of, I adapted to it. To change the system, those with wealth of experience like you must learn to adapt to the system, and then you take over. When you take over, you not change it.
No, that is the biggest thing that they tell me every time, and I tell you is wrong. It's so wrong. You see, when you tell me to get there in the first place, already I have a stamp to my name in Nigeria.
Yep.
I have a stamp to my name. Go and ask in the football community. They tell you, okay, maybe outside of your interview, they will tell you, Omo, this boy, now the truth, now in the talk, this man not they talk every time. Oh. But officially, they will tell you I'm talking nonsense.
Okay.
Can you imagine?
You
go and cover a game. You go and cover. Everybody tells me, oh, Nigerian Football League, there's improvement, there's this, there's that. I say, okay. But the only time I was covering with a TV station, I was live camera in Calabar. In Uyo. We were watching. What game were we watching again? We were covering that game. It was Warri Bulls against Akwa United. It was 0-0 first half. The referee went in, and 5 minutes later, we were doing the analysis of the game we just saw. 0-0. The referee ran out. There was blood on his face. I was looking at him. He was chased out by the Akwa United fans. They were beating him inside his dressing room while the game was 0-0.
Yeah, that's.
They did not have. Listen, they did not have enough security first of all inside the stadium. And I tweeted that, look, this is what is happening. Can you believe that the next day everybody was telling me that I was lying? Can you believe that?
Well, I understand.
Everybody was telling me I was lying. So why do I want to waste my time to help people who don't want to be helped?
Okay, so I kind of understand that, because I've been in that position too. I think it was 2008. I was in that position the season that Bayelsa United won the league. I said something that I saw in the stadium. I came to Lagos for work. I was queried. I was told that thing I said is a lie. They've called my boss, and that is a long story. So let's come to the Super Eagles. We've just qualified for the African Nations Cup. The draws for the next World Cup, next to the final round, is already been made. 10 groups. Nigeria finds itself in the third group with Cape Verde, Central African Republic, and Liberia. I spoke with Gernot Rohr last week, Monday, who happens to be someone you know very well, and being someone who played in Germany, you understand the German mentality. First off, the first time me and you we ever had a fight was in 2013, when I said before the Nations Cup that Nigeria was going to win the Nations Cup, and you spoke against me on Twitter that I should shut up, that we have a bad team. And I said, no, we're going to win the Nations Cup. And I gave my reasons that the Nations Cup previously was in 2012. The other teams have not rested. Nigeria was the only team that didn't qualify. We're going to win the Nations Cup. And when we played the first 2 games against Burkina Faso and what's the other team, and we drew, and you were on me, and I said, hey, Johnny, I'll be your brother now. Why you want to kill me? But then eventually we won the Nations Cup. So this time around, I'm going to put it to you. With the players that we have, can you beat your chest here and say we can win the Nations Cup in Cameroon next year?
Nigeria can always win the Nations Cup.
Okay.
Nigeria can always win the Nations Cup because we are, first of all, on paper, we are good for it. A lot of people might say, no, we don't have the kind of talented players. We do have talented players. It is actually how we want to use those players that will play a major role, and that is the coach. To win the Nations Cup, even for this coach, should not be I won't say it should not be difficult. It is a possibility, a very, very clear possibility. But for Nigeria now, it goes beyond the Nations Cup. It goes to the World Cup. The record that is there for us to actually qualify for a quarter-final or for a semi-final. It is the possibilities, they are there. But my problem is, do we want to make those changes? Do we want to make those changes for us to actually break those records?
Okay, so can you suggest the changes that you're talking about?
A lot of people, they've gone against what I have said, and they think maybe it's personal. It's with football, it's never personal. That's the first thing. If you ask Gernot Rohr, he will tell you in Germany that once you start getting personal in making decisions in football, then you will fail.
You will fail for sure.
Yes,
I was taught that too.
Having said all of this now, our problem that we would encounter at the World Cup, first of all, is our coach.
Okay, so explain that bit.
Okay, now, I saw the last World Cup. I saw how hopeless our team was at that World Cup. when we meet a European side that can actually pass the ball very well and play organized football, we will have problems. After I saw the World Cup, then some few games later, I said, look, I actually think this guy has done his bit in developing our national team. We need somebody bigger than this guy now to handle our national team for us to progress from where we are. You see that thing when we say, oh, everybody is improving, everybody has improved now, we cannot beat them the way we used to beat them. No, they are getting more organized than we are. That is the problem, and that is the issue. We still do at the NFF, we still do those archaic things that we used to do in 85. Why would you be doing those things now when football has gone scientific now?
Do we have what it takes to do these scientific things that you're saying? Hold on. For instance, it is open truth that this government does not support football at all. Okay, so let me give you a very typical example. Wait, Jonathan, let me put this in first. Let me give you an example. The last, I think, was it the last qualifying or was it a friendly game? The one they played in Edo. Okay, it was a qualifier.
That you have a governor coming to train with our national team.
Yes.
Who does that?
Okay, that's Nigeria for you. Okay, the reason
no, it does affect everybody.
Good. Now let me come in that point. That's even where I was going to.
That's the point I'm making.
No, that's where I'm going.
Let me give you from a professional point of view what that does. What actually that act, what it has done for some players. The players will come, they are professionals, and you now bring a governor to come and train with them. Everybody is looking. You know what they are thinking? These people are really not serious, because even the president of my club cannot come to our training without the permission of my coach.
Okay, good. That's the point I am trying to bring in to your notice. When we were going for the 2019 African Cup of Nations, the president of this country, President Muhammadu Buhari, approved 3.3 billion for the campaign of the Nations Cup. That includes the campaign, the players' allowance, hotel, feed, everything, their flight ticket back and front. As I speak to you, this is 2019. I'll tell you on good authority that money have not been paid. Hold on, no. That money have not been paid, have not been released, sorry. But the president approved it. How a president of a country will approve fund, but the money will not be disbursed. And then, just when we played the last game last month in Lagos against what's the team that we played in Lagos, they now negotiated with the NFF that money, that 3.3 billion that was approved, they should come take 700 million. Try and understand where I'm going to. So an FA president will say, you know what, for me to be able to keep going with my matches, I have to play. That's the thing I said, I have to play the politics of the game. We don't have a home ground to host our matches because we don't have the fund. We're going to play it in Edo State. The deputy governor, Shuaibu, who happens to be a footballer who plays with Benel Insurance, feels like he wants to train, he wants to stretch his leg. Now, these are politicians who, if you don't play to their bidding, they will not give you the support. Nigeria will not qualify. You would eventually blame the FA. So, what do you do there? You give a little room for that to happen, even though it's not professional, which I agree with you, but you play the politics on one hand to get the sports going. That's a point that I was raising.
You see, like I said before, from the beginning, there will be hunger. This football, you see, from the beginning, there will be hunger.
True.
Once you separate government from football, there will be hunger. But at the end of the day, football will thrive.
Now, but between when you separate government,
you only need 10 million people from our almost 300 million people to follow the football.
Unfortunately, Jonathan, this is where I disagree. Unfortunately, no matter what we do in Nigeria, we cannot even produce 1 million. We cannot produce one. See, Nigerians, let me be very honest with you. One of the things I have learned, I used to think the way you're thinking. I used to, when I came back from Europe, it can be done like this. Nigeria as a country does not have a football culture. You see that culture of football that you had when you were playing for Jules Berger, when I was playing for Sharks of Port Harcourt, when Kanu was at Iwayawu National, we don't have it again. We are a comfort zone people. So the whole idea of 10 million people supporting football in Nigeria, bros, forget it. That's Badadash. It will not happen now in our lifetime. Maybe after. So
we get them now.
No, we get the people. We get the people, but we not get the people who they support football that way. That's something that I'm pointing out to you.
Make I tell you something. How many days ago I sit down, I see the jersey win, or yes, the jersey and the track win Lagos State participant for the National Sports Festival.
Yeah.
I see am when somebody wear am. After festival,
yeah.
I still dey look for am to buy. I won't buy. I won't buy. I never see am. Wetin you think say they give money to all these clubs them for Europe?
Merchandise.
Finish. I dey look for Rangers. I dey support Rangers for our league. It only 3 months. I never see Rangers jersey back.
Okay, you're on at 3 months. This is where I will call out Emeka Wani. He's a boss that I respect, but I'm sorry, I'm going to call him Matt. Emeka Wani for the past, it's almost 10 years now. Like, for the past 10 years, I've promised to give me a Rangers jersey. And I said I won't buy him. 10 years, you talk of 3 months.
He don't promise me since 6 months.
Okay. Emeka Wani, Abi? Not be fault to na Rangers people fault. Not be saying I ain't in charge of the jersey.
I know now.
So that is the point that I am raising for you. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Abuja. I was trying to pursue some legislation to support sports development, and I find out that it's not as easy as we say it here. We must get people like Jonathan, people like Okocha, to really get involved actively in the politics. When you get there, clean up the water. Let me show you an example from the Bible that we all believe. God wanted to free the Israelite from Egypt. What was the first politics that God played? God made sure the deliverer was raised in the house of Pharaoh. Why did God play that politics? He put Moses in the house of Pharaoh so that Moses would understand the DNA and the thinking of the Egyptian governmental system. So when he was going to stand up and face them, because God will never come down to change things, when he was going to stand up and face them 80 years after, he was capable because he understands the dynamics of the governmental structure of Egypt. So it's the same thing here. You guys don't want to get there and play the dirty politics.
Make I put crack for that story.
Okay, put a crack on it.
Crack for that story. You see, usually, if Moses not being killed that Egyptian.
Yep.
Yeah. Because waiting you'd been they try to tell me now, say make I actually do like the Egyptians before I will come.
No, I'm not saying you do like the Egyptians. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Kill that Egyptian.
Yeah.
He no kill that Egyptian. In for no commot.
Hold on.
But he killed that Egyptian.
Hold on.
Look, I cannot take this anymore. Why
Hold on.
They do this thing?
The question is, how is it that Moses, who was raised as an Egyptian, got angry with what Egyptians were doing? That's the question you should ask yourself. You know why? Because the orchestrator of things put him there to be a deliverer. So your calling is your calling. The thing is, if Jonathan is a deliverer of Nigerian football, he would look at what is going on. He will find himself there for such a moment such as this, like Exeter also, because Okocha was in the state FA in Delta State. That's a window for him to say, you know what, I don't enter, me and Edema day here now. Let's use this route to go to the top and start changing the team from the top. Amadi would have been up for election and people would have supported an Okocha presidency. Did he get it right? The answer is no. That's the thing again I have against the class of 94. Say bunch of entitled people who don't do anything but ask for everything.
No, but let me give you the difference between me and Okocha now.
Okay.
If my leg dey near Delta State Football Association now, everybody wey dey control football for this Nigeria, na fire brigade they go take carry come meet me for there. Na the truth be that. Now they tell you so.
Jonathan. Okay, so let's highlight some of our current players, because the situation of the Today Super Eagles is also like your 1998 situation. We have Osime, Kelechi Iheanacho, Oyekuru, we have Paulo Onuachu, we have Simi Wankwo, who's scoring goals like goals are going out of fashion in Italy. We have Sadiq Umar, and then we have the peripheral players like Ahmed Musa. We also have Chukwueze as well, Samuel Chukwueze, Carlos Samuel, and a few others. Okay, if you're Gernot Rohr, how do you pick your players without creating another Jonathan Akpoborie situation with this national team?
It's actually very simple. Sometimes we look at decisions like that and we say, okay, look, this thing is going to be difficult. Of course, it's going to be difficult, but a national team is supposed to be with our best players. Okay, the strikers you have in Europe, you measure strikers with their goals. Sometimes, not every time. Sometimes you look at the goals and you say, okay, what does this striker bring for the general play of the team? Does he affect
team chemistry?
The transition look very good for us as a team, or does he just score goals? Okay, if you have somebody who can deliver those goals, and you now have somebody who can create as well as score goals, which makes the transition from the midfield into the attack very, very good, then you take into consideration after you have somebody who can score those goals for you at the minimum chance he would have. So that chemistry is supposed to be seen by the coach. Unfortunately, that is what he's paid for. In that short time that they will come and train, he should be able to make those decisions, because as they are playing in their different clubs, he will be monitoring them. That is why you see maybe the English coaches or the German coach, they go and watch their players in different games to get the psychological feel of the player and what the player does on the field, to compare to the other ones he will see subsequent weeks that are coming. To be a Nigerian coach or a national team coach does not say you should sit down in your house and watch TV. Watching TV and watching the match on TV is different from watching the game live.
I agree too.
As a national team coach, you have to be live on ground to watch the player, what he does without the ball and what he does with the ball.
But unfortunately, COVID have not allowed some of these things to happen. So let's break the Super Eagles into department. In attack, we are overblessed. We're like the Niger Delta. We have too much resources. We don't know how to use them. In midfield, we have only one core midfielder. The others are journeymen. As far as I'm concerned, or I might be wrong, the only midfielder we have, or maybe two, is Wilfred Ndidi, who arguably is one of the best defensive midfielder in the world currently, and Joe Aribo.
Don't forget he was converted from the central defender.
I know. You remind me of Sunday Lise. And Joe Aribo. The other ones, Ogenekare Itebo for me is a support striker. Alex Iwobi for me is neither here nor there. He plays one good game today and he has to wait for 10 games before he plays another good game. I don't recall with such kind of players anyway, but I don't have issues with him. So, and then in defense, we only have Kenneth Omeru, Truste Kong and Balogun, and sometimes injury does not allow them to play consistently. Shewa Abdullahi also injury issue. There's Ola right now that is doing well, and the others. And then in goal, we have only one goalkeeper, Maduka Okoye. How do you think the coach will be able to get the best out of our midfield, our defense, and our goalkeeping position?
You see, during my time when we were playing, or even before me, there was a game. The first time I watched a game live inside the national stadium, I was with the under-17 national team, and we were privileged to be at the stadium when Nigeria was playing against I think Algeria or Egypt, and I saw Mike Emenalu in his debut game for the Super Eagles. was unbelievable. He was still playing in the I think at Rangers at that time, and he played so well in that game. It was unbelievable. We do have some very good players in our league, although the difference now to that time when our league was flourishing is very, very visible. In the defense department, we do have players, and those players, you need to teach them from the scratch. You need to teach.
Do we have the time to teach them on the national team? I mean, 5 days maximum before they have in the national team training ground.
During what I was getting at, before those people will come from Europe, these guys were already in camp, training as a national team. And the coaches will be telling them every day, teaching them. That is why I keep saying the national team coach is not going back to Europe to go and sit in his house. No, he should work. If he knows that he has a problem in that area, come into our league. If you don't have those players in Europe, come into our league and look for somebody that you will teach. You are being paid for it. The dollars that they pay you is not for going to Europe and go and sit down. Come and do the work here. We have the players in the league. You have to teach them. If you don't teach them, they will not learn. You see the difference between the players we have now in our league and the players we used to have at that time? It was coaching. Coaching is the difference. You know, before, when you go as a football player, you go to Europe, they will tell you, okay, I'm looking at this player and I think maybe in 6 months or maybe, tops 1 year, he will be a top player in Europe. But today, you know why they reject most of our players every time? Because that time frame increases every time as we are going.
True.
Now a player comes from the Nigerian league and they tell you, no, minimum 2 years, then he will be a good player. But those people have academies now, so they will take the cheaper route and tell you, no, we have a player that can give us this. He's in the academy. No, let him go back. That's the difference, my brother. That's the
so
difference.
it also means that Imama Mapakabo was right when he said that in the Nigerian league the coaching is poor. Because what you just said now, I remember.
In fact, it is very, very poor.
Because I remember I went to Europe. Finidi George went to Europe and he displaced a player. You went to Europe and you displaced players. I went to Europe and it was supposed to be a 3 weeks trial. After 2 games, the coach just said, "You know what? We're signing this guy. He's going to stay." You know. So
for me, it was 3 days with FC Saarbrücken. 3 days.
So you see that kind of situation. Now a top goal scorer in the league will go on trials and will not even pass. Will fail. Will not control the ball, cannot run, does not understand how to interpret tactics. Well, it's a long one. We've come to the end of the show. Emmanuel Sebastian is already here giving me sign. He wants to start his show. He wants to talk about Nigerian players. Jonathan, I know that you have a trip. You're going out of the country tonight, and I'm going to allow you to go rest. Sorry, because of this interview, you couldn't go play your tennis. I am sorry about that, but thank you for giving me your time.
I will still play tennis.
You'll still Jonathan, you're a bad guy. So some other time we will call you again and we will talk about some of the things that we were unable to talk about. But you're really a good sport, and I like the part where you said if you put one leg in the DFA right now, the Delta State Sports Commission right now, it's Fire Brigade that they will call. Okay, so I would have to talk to. I'm hearing rumors that they want to split Delta State into 2. There's going to be Anioma State and there's going to be Delta State. Maybe the new Delta State, that's rumors, the new Delta State, if it comes to be, you might be very, very useful in that place, and we would not call Fire Brigade because we actually do not have Fire Brigade in Warri right now. So unless not pure water, will give you to drink. But thank you very much for your time on the show. I was enjoying the conversation. God bless you, and have for yourself a safe trip, and also play tennis without getting injured. God bless you, man.
Thank you.